So our program so far now not only allows us to display some output, but allows us to store values into a memory location in the form of just an integer. We can see it here with the numbers 99 and 77 stored in the two variables number and another num. We can change those, like numbers change to 55 and we're doing some output. What we're going to do now is add or make changes so that the user, in other words the person running your program, can decide what values to put into these places. The first thing I'll do here, I'm going to get rid of one of the variables and I'll go with just number. I don't have to set it equal to anything. It's a good idea to give it a default value of 0, but in this case I'll not give it anything, just to let you see what happens. And I want the user to enter a number that we're then going to store inside that variable number. So I need a message on screen. So if I start typing console, and beforehand there we've used display methods from the console, in other words write and write line, and we're going to use that again before we use a command that's going to allow us to input some information. So what do we want to do? We want to write a message on screen, and the message, if I do that right, the message should simply be something like, say, please enter a value. It's enclosed inside quotes because we want that to come out literally on screen. I've used write instead of write line because I want the cursor to be flashing at the end of the previous line. I've taken a space after the colon here so that the value that we enter, or the cursor's flashing position, isn't right up against the colon. So what I want to do now, well, I want to read information in from the keyboard. So again, it's a console command. So if I was to say console dot, I'll start typing READ for read. You can see I've got options here, read and read line, and we've previously come across read key. We're down here where we've been using it just to hold the screen. What I want to do this time is read a line. In other words, whatever gets typed in the keyboard right up until the user presses enter, I want that to be read and stored somewhere. So console.readLine, like that, essentially reads a line from the keyboard. Now I would want to store whatever we read from the keyboard somewhere. I want to store it into number. So in front of that, if I put number equals console.readLine. Now typically that there would be fine, except what we read from the keyboard comes in as a string, in other words a piece of text. I've set number up to be an integer type memory location, so I would need to convert whatever comes in to a number before I store it in number. There's a couple of ways of doing that. One of the ways is using built-in keyword or built-in function convert dot to int, and we're just going to go for an int 32 just to give us a standardized number throughout. So convert to int 32, open my brackets there and close my brackets at the end of the read line statement. Of course we have then the semicolon. So that's now saying number equals read whatever the user enters in the keyboard and convert it to a 32-bit integer and store it into number. We'll adjust this line here. Instead of saying the first number is, we'll just say the number is. We don't have a second number, so I'll just get rid of the rest of that. I'll keep in returns. We don't have that another num. And I'll keep in number equals 55 so we can see that is still working. So this time whenever we run our program, it's now stopped here asking me to enter a value. So if I enter the value 100, you can see here the number is 100. the value of number is 55, showing that we still were able to change it. Press any key to continue. That's typical input and output in the same program, and I'll make another slight change here. If I change number to age, and I'll just change it everywhere in the program. Okay, I think I got them all. There is a shortcut as well. But I'm also going to create a different type of variable. I'm going to create a string, and I'm going to call it name. Now, in this case here, I will be able to store a string, in other words, a piece of text. It could be a full sentence, but for what I'm going to be doing here, it's going to be just a person's name. I'm going to copy these two lines here and paste them just before. Let's see, please enter your name, and I'll set name equal to, and because name is already a string, I don't need to convert. So whatever's typed in the keyboard at that stage will go straight into name. And for the second one, I'll change the message just to please enter your age, and then age gets read into that. And I'll change the output message to say, let's say, my name is, and then wherever the name is will be stored in the first placeholder. And we'll do a second placeholder, so I am something years old. 2 returns. The first value that I want there is the name, so that should be the first variable that goes after the comma, and we separate those by a comma so that name goes into position 0, age goes into position 1. I'll get rid of the other messages which we don't need now. So if I'll just do a save all this stage. So if I run that, please enter your name, and I can see I spelled name wrong. Let's say Bart. Please enter your age. Try 19. My name is Bart and I am 19 years old. You can see came out there as expected. And just go back and fix that error there. So you can see I spelled that name, sorry, the word name wrong. It's not an error in the program, it's just a piece of text. It's inside quotes, so it's not going to point out to me that there's an error. It works and prints out just the way it is, so you have to watch out for those kind of mistakes yourself. So there's some simple input and output now where we're using both an integer type variable and a string type variable.